Greetings everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of Some Bond Geek Talks About with me, your host, the name's Stevens, Henry Stevens. Everybody, how'd you do? I hope you're well, hope you're enjoying a good Bond film, a good Bond book, a good Bond video game, a good James Bond, whatever makes you part of this glorious fandom, everybody. How'd you do? And today we're going to talk about the original title film Tomorrow Never Lies, accidentally changed by a marketing blunder to the much better title, you know the one I'm talking about, Tomorrow Never Dies. Yes. So, before we get into that, everybody, can I just do my customary quick bit of house cleaning here? Can I ask, when it comes to the YouTube channel and the videos, please like, comment, subscribe. It really means a lot to me. And also, if you really are a fan of the channel, why not consider, when you subscribe, click the notification bell icon down below to receive future updates when every new video comes out. And just, as always, everybody, just a massive thank you from me to you for coming here and being part of the Some Bond Geek Talks About community, a safe community where all Bond fans can discuss what they love, what they don't like about James Bond. We're all here for each other, everybody, and we're here to talk about the glory that is James Bond. Right, everybody, let's get into it. So, Tomorrow Never Dies. So here's my initial thoughts on it. For some reason online, I noticed there's a very mixed reaction to Tomorrow Never Dies. You either like, die hard love it, find it forgettable, absolutely despise it. It really is like, you sort of, there's no even little middle areas between those. Me, honestly, I'm in this section. I absolutely love Tomorrow Dies. I find it, and this hopefully will make sense, a real cozy comfort James Bond. I really do enjoy this film. I think one of the reasons I do enjoy it, and this perfectly segues into this, is my personal connection with Tomorrow Dies. Because everybody, this is part of the channel now. For those who are new to the channel, the whole point of this channel is to discuss my personal connections with the James Bond film franchise. And, you know, how I've grown up with it, how I still, you know, how it affects me today, happy memories concerned with it, my family connections, and all that stuff. So, everybody, I'm going to take you all this right now. Tomorrow Never Dies was the second James Bond film I ever saw. GoldenEye was the first, Tomorrow Dies was the second. I think like as an early, I think it was like, yeah, like a bit like an early Christmas present in 1998. Basically my older brother, again, who got it was GoldenEye was bought for him. The next one was bought for him. We got he got a video of Tomorrow Never Dies, which, by the way, everybody, I really would like to say something actually quickly on this video. It had this film trailer. I think it was for the whole like Bond collection that you could get. You know, the whole taglines in the trailers. It takes more than one Bond to get all those ladies, all those gadgets, all those villains. That was also like my introduction to like, oh, there's other Bond films outside of like GoldenEye, Tomorrow Never Dies. Oh, there are other actors who have played James Bond. This trailer sort of opened up the whole like, oh, there's way more Bond films than just these two to me. Just a little side little bit there I've just wanted to share with you, everybody. And what I'm going to do on probably in one of my next couple of videos is actually find that trailer and do like a trailer reaction to it and like my memories concerning it. That's just a little thing I just wanted to add in there, everybody. But Tomorrow Never Dies, again, second Bond film I saw, and really happy memories of it. Again, stupid idiotic boy that I was. If you look on the box art, it has obviously the 007 logo behind the title. I honestly thought as a kid, when I first saw the box art, the film was called 007, Tomorrow Never Dies. Oh, I was an idiot as a kid. Not much better now, but you know, I just thought, again, a little funny thing there. But again, this is another film that my family have all loved and watched. We've all, you know, watched together a lot over the years. It's one we could, you know, like that. My grandfather, who, for those who are new to the channel, those of you who are already accustomed to the channel know, I've grown up watching virtually all the Bond films with my grandfather up to a point. He loved the Bond films. He loved watching them with me. Again, Tomorrow Never Dies was a favourite of his. He really enjoyed it. He thought, you know, again, Brosnan was brilliant. You know, I think it was just one of those films he actually really enjoyed. So yeah, it made the experience of Tomorrow Never Dies always much better, everybody. So yeah, that's my personal history with James Bond. But outside of that, this film does have a few things that really do bug me. And I've really narrowed it down to 3 things. Now, number 1, and it always will be throughout this, for the GoldenEye trailer, and Tomorrow Never Dies, and World's Not Enough, this will always be my biggest bug, is those bloody BMWs. I hate them. I hate them. And this filmed BMW looks absolutely dreadful. I think it looks awful. It's like this car is so unbondian, it's ridiculous. It just looks I'm sorry, if you're a BMW fan, fair enough. I'm glad if you love this car, great, all support to you. I'll defend anyone who says you shouldn't like this car. I really will. But to me, that car is just disgusting, and it's just so unbondian. The little yellow car from For Eyes Only, that which is Melina's car, I think it's more of a bondian car than that car down there. I really, really do not like it whatsoever. It's awful. But it does have the saving grace, I think, of being in one of the best car action chases of all time. I mean that, obviously, you've got the whole parking complex where Bond is fighting off Elliot Carver's goons, trying to get away and all that stuff, and using all the gadgets. At least this Bond car actually got to use its gadgets. How many years has it been since GoldenEye? I'm still waiting for those Stinger missiles behind the headlights. I'm still waiting to see them. Heck, I haven't even seen them in a video game. Which is what I'm waiting for. Still haven't seen that, everybody. But I think one of the highlights of this car, I have to say, is obviously when we had the mobile phone here, was the remote control aspect of it. I think one of the best Bond gadgets ever. Tap twice, 1, 2, draw your finger across the pad to drive the car. The whole chase sequence done on that mobile phone, him pressing the gadgets and stuff like that while hiding in the back, that was super, super cool, everybody. And let's be honest, again, a little personal connection here back again. How many of us who grew up in the 90s when our parents' cars, after seeing 20 Dies, didn't, when we had our old brick phones, just pretend we were controlling our parents, reversing the family car? Come on, I'll hand up. I'll admit it. Everybody. I'm a big boy. I can admit it. But that was really always really, really cool. And the gadgets in that car were really terrific. So it gets a little pass for being such an amazing sequence in gadgets. But I do not like that car. But that's the thing. Another thing that really I'm not a massive fan of in this film is just basically Pryce Carver. Now, I'll go into Wai Lin, the main Bond later, but Pryce Carver, I want to make very clear, still follows the tradition of great, strong, powerful women in the James Bond film franchise, not just stupid bimbos, which some people want you to believe there are. So I want to make that very clear. However, I feel the character of Pryce Carver is a bit of a wasted opportunity. I mean that by two things. Number one, I think it's really, really great concept that for once you have a sort of, if you will, a Bond girl who's been an ex-Bond girl, if you will, and Bond reconnecting with someone from his past, and then being thrust into danger again. That, I think, is actually a really cool idea, and very much in keeping with what Brosnan was trying to do, something with his tenure, was make Bond more human. The thing is, because this character is a completely new creation for us, not a pre-established old flame of Bond, I just don't think it has the emotional resonance, and it doesn't have the weight that this character needs. I mean, I have no idea, but I think someone like, and I was thinking about this, Sylvia Trench, from Doctor No, from Russia of Love, if this was like her, now married to Elliot Carver, that would have been so much better, I think. Because for Bond fans, you have the history of it, and you can quickly put in a little thing in the line saying, Bond, haven't seen you since before you went to Istanbul. It's been a long time. That's like a little joke how long the series has run as well. But it would work, wouldn't it, everybody? Something like that would, I think, have much more weight to it. The other thing I really don't really like about the Sylvia, Pryce Carver character, and this is just a real personal gripe. You cannot say this, this is a real personal thing, so it's not really a massive issue. But I'm just not personally a fan of Terry Hatcher. Just basically, in a nutshell, I know she is a good actress. I mean, I'll always say I think she was brilliant in that Superman TV show where she played Lois Lane. And I've seen a few other bits every now and then, but nothing like I can't really remember off the top of my head. I'm just not a fan of her. I'm, just as some people are. I mean, I know people aren't really a fan of Matthew McConaughey, or not really a fan enough of Chris Hemsworth, or, not a fan of, some, I'm trying to think of other great big actors at the moment. Just, you like some people you don't. And to be honest, just Terry Hatcher as an actress has just never really clicked with me. I bet she's a super amazing, nice person. But that's just a personal thing. And I'd certainly tell her that I think she's really great in Superman Superman and Lois, that was it. Just honestly, in 20 Never Dies, just didn't really do it for me. And the last thing that I get really thinking about is the character of Stamper, because I feel this is meant to be like a really sort of big henchman, really cool henchman, but he just doesn't get there. You know, I feel the film's always trying to build up Stamper with everything, you know, with his connection like with Dr. Kaufman, who, by the way, that whole sequence with Bond and Dr. Kaufman, that real sort of tense, nail-biting sequence, was some of the best moments in Tomorrow Never Dies. That was a terrific scene, by the way. I want to bring that up here right now. And the dialogue is so crisp and sharp, and just, it keeps you on the edge of your seat, that whole sequence. But sorry, back to Stamper. You know, just every time he's on screen, like in the beginning where he's, you know, like can help, basically the guy in charge of the guy controlling that drill that attacks the naval ships, which we'll get into in a minute, all the way to every time you meet him, you know, the chakra torture or the end fight sequence with Bond and the big battle sequence at the end. Just, I feel this film is really trying to big him up and like being this really cool henchman, but honestly, I find him very vanilla, very bland. You know, you talk about, I think, all the henchmen in the James Bond franchise. Honestly, you'd say, I think, at least God knows how many before you finally get to Stamper. That's the real issue. But everybody, that's my three main issues with Tomorrow Never Dies. Because outside of those, I think the film is very, very interesting. Number one on my very much like positive side of things is the villain and his plot. Let's just talk about Elliot. Elliot Carver is really much played so well here by Jonathan Pryce, and played such a champagne villain. You know, when you first meet him, what kind of havoc can the Carver media news cover today? Excellent. And, you know, he's so champagne. He loves being the villain, essentially, in this film. He's one of those villains in films who revels in the fact that he's the bad guy a bit. And he just lets you just enjoy it with him, which really just brings me into it a lot. And he has some great lines. And I think he's just an interesting character. And do you know what? I really like his evil plot about how starting a war between, you know, Britain and China just for ratings. I can see that, to me, is a very modern day sort of Fleming-ish villain plot. And I actually see it something within just, it's far-fetched, but it's just got that enough plausibility that actually makes you think, could something like this happen? Does someone like this do this? You know, it starts making you think about it, which is really great. And the way he gets about it, obviously, with his stealth boat, you know, and that drill that attacks the naval ships, you know, this whole sequence, like at the beginning, where the drill destroys that naval ship, it's nail-biting brilliant, and it's such a memorable sequence, and I think quite a bit of the iconography of the movie, when you look at it, is that drill. I just really like, and I think it's just plot, and he was just really a fun villain. Honestly, I rank Elliot Carver very highly as a villain. And also, one of the things about this film is this film, I think, has some of the best action sequences in the whole of the Bond franchise. You know, the pre-title sequence at the sort of terrorist bazaar is really, really incredible. The whole shootout and the great sort of plane sequence at the end, you know, with Bond getting strangled from behind, the ejector seat, backseat driver. That whole sequence is really, really great. Great pacing and just great fun entertainment to watch. I've talked about the, you know, attack on the naval ships with the drill. You've got like Bond infiltrating, you know, Elliot's lair. You've got the most amazing motorcycle chase sequence, I think, which is literally still has not been rivaled, in my opinion. You know, and you've got the big battle sequence at the end. Weird enough, Tomorrow Never Dies has a lot of the Lewis Gilbertish side things of Bond, you know, because at the end, on the stealth boat, you have the great sort of big battle sequence like you did in You Only Live Twice, and Spy Love Me and Moonraker. Weird enough, Tomorrow Never Dies actually really harkens back to the Lewis Gilbert style of doing Bond films a lot. I think that's why another reason why I enjoy it so much. But, you know, they're all really fantastic. A criticism I have heard about Tomorrow Never Dies, and I can't really deny this, is this film's more of an action film than a spy thriller, and I do prefer my Bond films to be more spy thriller-ish, and to be honest, I can't disagree with those comments. Tomorrow Never Dies is much more of a sort of action film first, spy thriller second, which is a negative on its side. However, the film doesn't like completely forget about the spy thriller stuff. There is quite a bit of like Bond being a spy, investigating, trying to not be detected and all that stuff. It's all there. And, you know, probably it's its own very small measure. The bits they do are really, really good. But again, this is more action. Obviously, again, we've also got, as I talked earlier, the car plot chase sequence there as well. You know, you literally got non-stop action sequences a bit, but the spy bits are really good. And lastly, when it comes to the good things, I don't really talk too much about the soundtracks here, but this is the first film in the series had a soundtrack by David Arnold, and I think he's done an absolutely amazing, terrific job in this film. Weirdly enough, this is my favourite David Arnold soundtrack he ever did. A lot of people might say Casino Royale down the line, but I think he just got the balance right of great action and Bond theme in this film really, really well. So I really give a 10 out of 10 to the score of Tomorrow Never Dies. I think it was really, really great score here. But that's all my good points and bad points. Let's now go in and talk about characters here. Let's talk about James Bond himself, because I think Brosnan is very much getting a bit more comfortable in the role. He's very much changed physically in this movie. He's a lot more butcher, not so sort of slim now. To be honest, I think he looked better in Goldeneye than he does in his latter 3 films. That's just, again, a personal opinion. But he's really, really interesting. He plays so well at the sort of the whole story arc of Bond meeting someone from his past and sort of getting a bit vulnerable again. He plays so well. He really does. His quips, I think, are really, really good in this film. He's looking really great in the action. So this is my childhood Bond. Everything about him to me, and maybe I've got rose-tinted glasses. He's just brilliant in this movie. He does such an amazing job. I really, really think so. I've talked about Elliot Carver. I've talked about Stamper. I've talked about Pryce Carver. I haven't talked about the other main Bond character yet, Michelle Yeoh, Wai Lin. Without a doubt, this character, I'm just going to say right off the bat, is in like my top 3 Bond ladies of all time. She is an amazing badass, really interesting character, a Chinese agent. She is just terrific. And Michelle Yeoh, everybody, come on. Michelle Yeoh is one of, I think, the best actresses still working today. Everything she touches is just pure golden now because she's in it. She's an amazing actress and an amazing character. I love how the relationship starts between the two, you know, from Carver's sort of, you know, little party, going up to investigating, and then, you know, basically saying just tolerating each other, using each other, becoming a bit of a friendship, and then going on to the big thing at the end, smoochy time at the end. You know, there's a lovely progression of it in the movie, and I sort of care about it. You know, if they were going to do a spin-off of James Bond, people don't get this, but I'm up for Wai Lin the series. I really am. Hashtag Wai Lin the series. Let's start that going, people. Let's start that going. But that's important. Let's talk about now the MI6 regulars. Judi Dench is then once again absolutely terrific. You got Samantha Bond as Moneypenny again, giving absolutely amazing performance here. You don't have Michael Kitchen now as Bill Tanner because he wasn't available, so they created a whole new character called Charles Robson, played by, in my opinion, one of my favourite English actors working, Colin Salmon. I love Robinson. Robinson is like one of the most coolest guys I remember, like Bond and Robinson together. It's always really great. I love the character of Robinson, and he gets so much more fleshed out in the next 2 films, which I'm really, really happy about. I've always think Robinson was a cool character, one of the cool guys at MI6. So I've always been a fan of him. So I'm glad he's sort of allowed to stay on and stuff, everybody in the film. Obviously, we talked about Stamper, we talked about Dr. Kaufman. We haven't talked about Henry Gupta, who has, you know, the encoder, played by, I can't remember his name, but he's really, really good as well. So that's really the characters of the movie. I just want to, again, end on the new segment we do in the Brosnan era, which is talk about the video game side of things, because obviously I remember very much when I got my PlayStation 2 for the first time, I got a lot of Bond games with it, specifically Agent Under Fire, The World's Not Enough, and Tomorrow Never Dies. And I just want to give a little brief thing here about Tomorrow Never Dies, because we will do a review of it one day on the channel. But in my opinion, Tomorrow Never Dies is one of the worst James Bond games ever. The controls were terrible. The levels weren't that great. Just everything about it just, to me, was like complete, you know, step down, was like 18 jump steps down from GoldenEye. It just didn't work. And I love the third person video games. You know, I'm actually more of a fan of things like Everyone Else from Russia have loved the third person video games of James Bond. But Tomorrow Never Dies, I have to say, just in brief synopsis, wasn't really that good. So everybody, you know, that's really my thoughts about everything involving Tomorrow Never Dies. It's a comfort James Bond film. It's one of those films I can just put on. It takes an hour and a half to watch, which, by the way, as one of the shorter Bond films, pacing is not an issue. Really flows really well. Doesn't feel like it's being rushed or anything. And just enjoy it and just sit back, relax, enjoy a really good story, really good villain plot, some great interesting characters, a great performance. I just really love Tomorrow Never Dies. It is the comfort James Bond. Like this hoodie I wear now, it's really comfortable to wear. Tomorrow Never Dies is a comfortable James Bond film to watch. But I want to know, everybody, what's your thoughts on Tomorrow Never Dies? Are you a fan of it? Are you not a fan of it? Do you like it as much as me? Do you just not like it as much? I want to know. Comment down below and tell me what you think. As always, everybody, my name's Henry Stevens, and this has been some Bond Geek Talks About. Goodbye.